This is the perfect RIA, in case you didn't know. Bringing you all the strategies to help your business grow. Are you happy? Are you satisfied? Are you hanging on the edge of your seat? Sit back and listen in while you feel the beat, yeah! Another myth bites the dust.
Hello, TBR Nation. This is Amber Kuhn from the Perfect REA. Thank you for joining me on today's Follow-Up Friday, where I'll be covering the highlights and action items from this week's episodes. On Monday's episode, Matt and Micah shared that during a recent Invictus Mastermind, one of the things that kept coming up was people saying that they weren't playing Office, but that they're at capacity. Micah hears this consistently when talking with advisors. As a reminder for masterminds, during this time, advisors will go through financial undressing because it allows other advisors to spot things that you don't necessarily notice in your own practice. The guy said that you have to be compassionate during masterminds, but this doesn't mean appeasing others. Instead, it's calling them out in their truth. Matt said that there's this temptation to say that you're so busy, but if you take a deep dive on the numbers, it usually doesn't add up. Micah said you could be spending all day and still not be able to do the things that you need to do, such as marketing or value adds, and that it's easy to say, I'm at capacity. He added that he's yet to meet a growth-minded advisor that really says that they're at capacity, and that when he hears that someone says they are, it becomes a tell for him that they are playing Office. He also said that this is something that we have to call each other out on. Every single advisor plays Office, but you need to learn how to tell when you're playing Office. Micah's recommendation is to decide what are the top 3 things that you need to be doing. And if you're not doing one of those things, then you need to stop and delete it or delegate that task. Matt gave an example of the process for when a client calls and speaks with an assistant saying that they need money. He said, you should think about what is the process from there. And that playing Office also means that you're touching things that you don't need to touch. He also stated that you doing the slowest, most manual way is not providing personal advice. It's playing Office. And that playing Office is more often than not this illusion of providing customized advice when really you're just doing things the hardest way they could possibly be done. So, if you are choosing not to automate, or you're choosing to not create a process for your team so that they can answer questions themselves, like I said, this is all playing Office. You have to look at this intentionally and think about what is the highest and best use of your time. And that you also need to look at what are you avoiding doing. Matt mentioned that advisors will lie to themselves sometimes about their numbers as well, and that the best way to cure this is that you only talk numbers if you have the numbers in front of you. He said that you need to treat your practice as you would with a client. You want to look at those real numbers. The guys went through the process of understanding how many hours you're really spending working, which is by taking the number of clients you have and the number of hours you're spending on each client. And then from there, you need to look at where are the rest of your hours going. Matt and Micah wrapped up the episode by asking a big question. Are you following your own advice? For example, how much are you saving for retirement? Do you have your estate planning in order? They said that as an advisor, you're pushing this on the client, but how can you tell a client to save for retirement if you're not doing the same for yourself? Let's get into action items from Monday's episode. Take an honest look at yourself. The guys recommended getting a piece of paper and writing down the following numbers. How many households do you have? What's your total AUM? What's your billing schedule? And then what was your revenue? Then draw a vertical line, go through and pull all of those numbers and see if they match up. If they don't, whether intentionally or not, you've been lying to yourself. You have to have a group. And this isn't something that's just a fluff group, but instead, this needs to be something that will help transform your practice. Never say that you're at capacity ever again. Instead, say the next level of my growth is, or the next transition of my firm is. Say this in a different way. Lastly, reach out to us if you're interested in the Perfect REA and speaking engagements. You can contact us at lifestyle@theperfectrea.com. On this week's What Works Wednesday, Matt was joined by Rich Chen, who we were fortunate to have back on the show. Rich is a compliance attorney who helps RAs, and Matt brought him back to discuss his experience growing up blind, being an attorney, and now owning his own practice. Matt started the episode by mentioning something he noticed from their last call when his wife had jumped in to help with a technical piece. And Rich said we all need help at certain points in time. We definitely have resources to creative problem solve on our own, but sometimes it just helps to have someone alongside you. And his hope is that people are open to asking for help. This episode focused on positivity and blocking out the negativity. Rich said that a lot of it is mindset and focusing on positivity, and that there's way too much negativity out there. He said you need to believe that you can accomplish a lot, that there's nothing to be afraid of. He said there's too much fear of failure, and that it's a matter of making sure that we don't listen to the negative voices that tell us that we can't. While it's easy to get pulled into the negativity, as Matt mentioned, for Rich, he said that he'll recall what he's been able to do before, and that the more you practice at positivity, the more you can tune out that negativity. He also stated that a lot of people have big dreams, but you also need to focus on what's right in front of you. And that it's important to do one step at a time because realistically, you don't know what's around the corner. Rich feels that we're all made in a unique way and that we all have our challenges. Growing up, he dealt with some discrimination and he wanted to prove people wrong. He said it does make succeeding much more satisfying when you accomplish something because you faced adversity doing it. When it comes to facing challenges and head trash, Rich said that it's very important to have people around you who are positive. He also said that a focus should be on how you can impact those around you instead of being self focused. He said listening is vital. You need to be responsive to people, but it's not always about finding the perfect solution. Sometimes it's just about them being heard. Let's cover the action items from Wednesday's episode. Think big. And then think about what you dream about doing and what you think you're made to do. Then look at what's the one small step that you can take tomorrow to start to move in that direction. Also, be sure to share that with other people so that they can help encourage you. On this week's Worlds to Conquer, Jamie went in depth on goal setting, goal planning, and goal tracking. Jamie said that most people treat their goals as a wish, and that a goal without a plan is just a wish. That you have to take the time and energy to specifically put down your goals and then start backing into it and develop a plan for how you're going to achieve them. As always, this episode was full of amazing advice, but Jamie also mentioned a few things that you may not always think about. She said that financial lessons are caught, not taught. And the lessons that children are learning are from the immediate adults in their household. So you can't forget about the impact that you have on them. She also said that you can't get so caught up in the goals and the pursuit of perfection that you forget the human beings that you are impacting. You have to continually be present in the mindset of why you got into financial planning. Jamie said that if you're really committed to something, you will be more deliberate about the steps that you're taking to achieve that victory at the end. But she added that our goals have to be big. If you have a goal and you think, yeah, I can do that, then the goal is not big enough. Your goals must scare you. Jamie then went through step by step where to start with focusing on your practice goals. I recommend that you take the time to go back and listen or re listen to Jamie's episode. Get out a piece of paper and follow her exact instructions line by line on what numbers you need to look at and think about. Once you have your big goal in place, that's the one that makes you uncomfortable. Jamie said you need to sit down with someone who's going to practice analyze your setup and show you how to multiply without having to take on more. As a reminder for our Invictus members, Tracy can go through this analyzer with you. From there, you need to come up with your action items, and these need to be specific and attainable actions, and then also assign areas of responsibility. You also need to set deadlines for when these items need to be completed. Once you have this plan, then your goal is now 100% achievable. Jamie said that most individuals don't get to where they want to be in life because they don't know where they want to be. They don't build out a plan for how to get there. She said you need to surround yourself with peers and then you need to also find mentorship and align yourself with people who are where you want to be. That the peer group is also there to hold you accountable and to call you out. From there, take your plan, check in with yourself and your accountability partner to make sure that you are intentionally and consistently working towards your goals. Let's get into action items from Thursday's episode. Go join the Perfect REA. You can contact us at lifestyle@theperfectrea to get information on our different membership options. You need to come up with a one-page business plan with your big goal, which includes actionable items with deadlines and areas of responsibility. You cannot do this alone. You need people where you're at and people who are where you want to be. That wraps up this week's recap. Thank you so much for joining me on today's Follow Up Friday. Be sure to give us 5 stars wherever you're enjoying this podcast and share this or any of our episodes with another advisor who you think might benefit from listening. And until next time, happy planning.
Hold on before we go. Something that you need to know. This isn't tax, legal, or investment advice. That isn't our intent. Information designed to change lives. Financial planning can make you thrive. Start today, don't think twice. Be a better husband, father, mother, and wife. The perfect RIA, the perfect